In the Divine Truth teachings, Jesus talks about substance abuse, addictions, physical addictions, or such as cigarettes or alcohol, and he talks about emotional addictions. And he says that emotional addictions are the more important addiction that you need to pay attention to. My whole life, I've been battling the physical addiction of overeating uh, and eating junk food and sweets, candy, caffeinated, beverages. And I've always thought that that's the big problem that I have. I just went to Target and I bought a whole bunch of food, and it's all in my fridge. I'm on a vacation now, so I feel like, hey, I'll just I like to I don't eat so much in public. Um, well, I mean with friends or whatnot. Um, when I'm splurging or binging, I'll do it privately, and um, what I'll often do is buy food and just eat it within the day or within that the day that day and the next day. Um, I guess I just wanted to talk about my physical addiction. It's probably not my biggest addiction, but I do want to say it was interesting today when I went to Target. Um, it's funny, like with this new belief that I have that we all have a spirit and we are being communicated to constantly by people in the spirit world, even though we can't see them. That has infused, some of my experiences with more meaning. I mean, just walking around the grocery store, for instance, or having an interaction with a friend. Um, I was in the grocery store and I was just trying to pay attention to the way that I was feeling. And it's funny how when you go from one aisle to the next. You come down a new aisle that you haven't. Like I don't really go to Target that often, so the whole experience is kind of like a little theme park. It was kind of fun, except that I'm really just being in my addiction. I'm just looking for the worst kind of food. That's not fun, but um, you know, just the possibility. What's in that new aisle? Just looking down that new aisle and turning into that new aisle is interesting. And it's Christmas season. The Target is full of shoppers. I met someone I hadn't talked to in some time there. That was kind of interesting. Um, I turned one corner, and this is what I want to talk about, among other things. And there was a woman there looking at. I knew I wanted to get some drinks. I wanted to get some kombucha. So I turned the corner to one section where there was a refrigerator, an open refrigerator with various drinks, iced coffee and kombucha and other smoothies and whatnot. And there was a woman there just kind of looking like this, and I was looking at the back of her head, and she was just looking forward. She almost looked like she was stunned. And we've all been there. We're staring at a yogurt display, and there's strawberry yogurt, strawberry banana. There's peach. There's blueberry. Which one do I want? Well, I haven't had blueberry in a while. Maybe I should take the strawberry. You think about it, and maybe you're just you're just kind of caught in your thoughts while you're thinking about it. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you're kind of stunned, just still and lost in thought. And I thought about, and I saw her, and I just knew that feeling that she had, even though I didn't see her face or anything. And I thought of myself in that same situation many times, kind of getting caught, choosing between what flavor of drink or bread or whatever I want. And um, it's funny how people in your vicinity can influence your decision. Just having somebody around influences your decision. Um, So, you might be with a friend, you might be talking about whatever, and another friend comes over, and you don't want them to, you don't want to be, you don't want to be talking about the same topic. Let's say it's a sensitive topic in your mind, when the other friend is there. So you kind of shut up about that. Um, I mean, it makes sense that people around you change your behavior. But what was interesting to me is that as soon as she kind of heard a rustling behind her, that someone was approaching from behind, she just popped out of that stunned, um, motionless stance, and she grabbed a drink from the shelf, and then she moved on. And she didn't know me or see me. I don't know if she was concerned, or sometimes I think women are scared of me because I'm kind of a big guy, um, or she just didn't want to be caught. Maybe she had a feeling that I'm being lazy. I shouldn't stay here too long looking at the drinks. Um, it could be anything. It could be, but it's interesting that motionless, and then just as I round the corner and she hears someone behind her, she grabs the drink and she moves away. And I guess in this video I wanted to talk more about my addiction with food, but there's so much I could talk about in that respect. But I think this is actually really interesting. Um, what else can I say about that? I paused it there for a moment. I guess there isn't much more to say, just that it's interesting how, like, I felt when I saw her uh, complete that motion. um, I felt that I had learned something. So for me, like, if I am, let me give you the example of the yogurt again. If I am in the section with the Yoplait yogurt and I'm deciding between cherry and blueberry, I can literally stay there for like 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, just wondering, just like, you know, cherry or blueberry, cherry or blueberry. What does it mean? It has so many ramifications to my life, and I'll just like, I'll just kind of get lost in like that. That might sound surprising, but I just heard a door slam behind me. There's an example of getting influenced by your environment. Um, it's made me stop wanting to speak. Um, it's made me concerned that if I'm too loud, if someone overhears me, the topic of the conversation might be unsettling, and other people in my apartment vicinity might feel, concerned about the kinds of things other people are talking about. I mean, maybe it's just an example of how freaking scared I am all the time. But anyway, back to this yogurt thing. So I know that if I've been in front of the yogurt display and I have wanted to grab one or the other thing, if there's nobody around, it becomes much easier to just like lose time, just making a decision between yogurts. And once someone appears, like, I don't want to be caught making a decision about yogurt. Like, what is that guy doing? I don't want to be in somebody's way. I don't want to look like I've got nothing going on, and you know, I want to look productive in a grocery store. That's the truth. Like all these emotions come up in a very simple situation, and I think we experience that all the time. Um, so I will, if there's someone nearby, I'll be pressured to think, got to make a decision now on the yogurt. I was leaning towards the cherry, so I'm just gonna get the cherry. Okay, I'll get the cherry. I think, no, but I really want that blueberry though. There's some good reasons why I should pick the blueberry. I haven't had blueberry in a long time. The taste, the flavor of blueberry, and then I'll kind of reach for the blueberry, and even that like hesitancy and that movement of reaching, that's better than just being stunned, still, staring straight ahead, motionless. In my mind, at least for the imagined observer. I don't know if the person who entered the vicinity to far away down the aisle is even watching me or not. But if they are, I don't want to be looked at and thought of as like kind of retarded or something. Sorry if that's wrong to say. And so I will try to act like I'm not, probably running out of time in this video, but I'll try to act like I'm being productive and I'm making a decision. And I'm going on to the next thing and I'm being efficient. And so just in that situation, and I thought about that, and I felt like I saw this woman reach for the bottle and jump out of her motionless state when I rounded the corner, and I thought, I know that feeling. I know that very well. And I think that's an example of an emotional addiction. And it happens too when you walk down aisles or when you turn into new aisles and you're looking at a shelf, and you have all these feelings and things that I think direct you towards uh, food in the store. Like for me today, I got a tax return, a tax refund from the IRS, and I had sudden money. And what I wanted to do with that sudden money was I wanted to go out and spend it immediately. I wanted to go to the grocery store and get, my favorite food and just splurge. And so I did that. And I felt like it wasn't a planned event. I hadn't written a list or anything. I just went. And I had all these I felt like I was directed in some cases. I don't know if it's a malevolent spirit directing me towards bad things or if it's what I really want. But whatever it is, it's interesting the influences on our lives that direct us in certain areas. And I definitely felt that I was being directed as I was going through the different aisles. Basically, the point of this video is to say that I think emotional addictions are always at work. I am not a master in this regard. I'm not here to teach anybody else. I'm just here to comment on experiences in my life. So if you've watched this far, why are you watching me when there's so much better content and you could be praying to God, on your own time? Something to think about.